Greetings, ladies and gentle readers. I'm Dwyer, and I just finished Bound. Slice of life progression fantasy from the Millennial Mage series, book 4. That's getting to be a mouthful. And as you know, because I have reviewed some of the other books in this series on my channel, I'm a little bit biased. I've been enjoying it with one caveat. It's important to note that this is a slice of life fantasy. So if you're into like high-paced, like epic tales full of like blood and bloodshed and Machiavellian like goings on in the background, all that kind of stuff, this is not for you. Like, this is a slice of life. So it's mostly an average person who's not really average. It's their day-to-day life as they're living in this world that the author is building for you. And some of that is going to be quite boring. Most of this one didn't fall into that, I want to say. The book 3, as you might know if you've seen the previous review, I wasn't completely a fan of it. It was a little bit boring. It was a little bit of an in-between book. I thought it was setting up for something in book 4, and I think that's pretty much what we're getting here, because this is the trip that she goes on to another city that's in the twilight years of its life. And this trip isn't going quite as nicely as some of the last ones. Yeah, this one's a little bit more uncomfortable. We're seeing a bit more of the big bads kind of taking more of a forefront in the story they have to be dealt with. The main character and, well, all the surrounding characters aren't really overpowered against them. They are struggling, and we even learn a couple of reasons why some of the really strong humans don't just go out and wipe them all out, because that was probably one of the things you immediately thought once you like kind of got a sense of where the other mages were in the series. Be like, well, if that's how strong they are and these things keep preying on people, why don't you just kill them? And then we figure that reason out. So that's kind of nice. So we get answers to some of the questions that we had along this series, and that was quite enjoyable. Quite enjoyable indeed. The end of the book, last 15%-ish, I want to say somewhere in there, is a little bit boring. Because by then, she makes it to her destination, and it's heavily slice of life. But unlike the first book, where we get a slice of life, but we have a lot of new character introduction, this is a bit more. It's a bit weaker. There's no other way to describe it. We're not really meeting any really fantastic individuals. We're not like thrown for a loop on anything that's going on, really. I thought we were gonna get more. Trying to avoid massive spoilers. I thought we were gonna get a little bit more on the bag she's carrying, but I think that's going to be book 5. I think we're probably going to delve more into that in book 5, because we get little peeks of it, teeny tiny peeks of it in book 4, but yeah, it's just not here. Overall, it's a pretty good read. I like the action sequences leading towards her destination. What else can I say without giving away a lot of horrific spoilers? There were some moments that admittedly took me off guard and caused a chuckle or two from me. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that too. There were a couple of jokes. You probably even know what they are if you really think about some of the weird quirks that good old Tala, our main character, has going for her. One thing I was disappointed about, though, is I was kind of waiting for a while now to figure out like how the whole blood archon thing is gonna make our main character unique or have any unique and interesting traits whatsoever, because you've got the normal stuff where everyone's going off and, you know, making the heart of their power around precious stones of some kind or wood or, you know, whatever. And she's like the only person who made it out of blood. So what's the deal there? How is that going to factor into, like, anything? I keep waiting for that shoe to drop. And unfortunately, I'm not really getting anything there. I'm a little bit disappointed about that. Maybe the author's not even sure at this point. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But I've been waiting for the blood archon to be the blood archon, you know? Like, I know she's at, like, the very, very bottom of the totem pole, and I have a feeling that's going to be more, like, when she's, like, way up here and less, like, when she's way down here. So I guess we gotta wait for that. I hope there's unique answers, is all I can say. I really, 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 really hope that there's unique answers for that. That aside, let's see, is there any reason to go into any spoilers? Not really. There's a few minor ones. There's a very few, very, very, very few minor ones. Like there's no reason to go to them. There's no reason to go into them. There are some enemies. They get stronger as they form. Like, they die or get splattered and they form up and become stronger. That was an interesting one. We get a little peek at the really, really strong deities that are wandering around. And that was pretty cool. So overall, I like the story. It's a bit boring in parts, but again, you have to remember, slice of life. It's not like an epic. It's not trying to be Game of Thrones. It's not trying to be Star Wars, right? It's not having like the super, super epic saga being told. It's some girl and she's got like a few unique traits, and that's kind of cool. So you gotta remember that while you're reading. That's a very chill read with some spice added in. And when you evaluate it on that premise, it's not bad. It's not bad. I think that's the story it wants to be. For now, that's the story it is. And I'm not going to, like, hit the story because it's not what it isn't trying to be. You know? That makes sense? Hope that makes sense. Either way, once again, I like it. I don't think we have any word of book 5 yet. I'm glad. I think when book 3 released, we already knew when book 4 was, and I do want space between these. I want to make sure that the author is really sitting there and thinking about where they want the story to go next, how they're even going to get there, all of that good stuff, you know? Because I don't get it. I think some books are now starting to be AI written, and I've stumbled across a few that it's like, bro, you're releasing a book every other month. There's no way you're doing that. There's no way you're writing that. You're getting help. Because you don't have a Patreon. You don't have a Royal Road. This isn't translated or something else. And you're releasing way too fast. So you're probably AIing your work. And I don't want like these good stories to fall into that. So when I see nice time between each volume, it reassures me that the author is putting in their due diligence to like flesh out a good tale. So I will patiently wait for book 5. And I hope I don't know what I hope for. I kind of want it to uptick a little bit in the action. I kind of want to see more about what's behind the curtain in the world at large. I'm not actually sure what I want from it. So we'll have to wait and see. But whenever it comes out, I'll probably be here reviewing it. Have you been enjoying the series? Are you going to give this series a try? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, I shall see you next time. Happy reading, everybody.